This is exactly how I'm going to go from 0 to a 10K per month agency with SMA in the next 30 days as a complete beginner with zero money down. I'm going to show you exactly how we are doing it so you can too. So welcome to day number 1 of Project 7 Figures, where me and Andreas are partnering up together to start and scale an agency from zero with $0 down, completely from scratch, to 10K per month in the next 30 days and 7 figures beyond that, to show you guys exactly how it's done. And I'm going to document every single thing on this YouTube channel. So considering that it's day 1, I might as well show you exactly how I'm starting out the agency, how we're starting this thing in the first place. But before I show you that, I want to show you one other thing, and that's our Stripe account. Okay, because I want to prove to you guys we're not fucking around, we're not faking this shit. So I want to essentially show you, look at this. Made this thing fucking 7 minutes ago. $0 in this account. There's not even data because it literally just got created. There's no data. October 23rd, literally just made this today. Okay, you guys are going to watch this on October 24th because it's scheduled one day ahead. $0 in the account. But let's actually get back to what we're talking about, and let's help you guys scale your agency and show you how exactly we are going to that, how me and Andreas are doing that. So I want to show you guys something. Okay, let's go to the agency checklist. This is exactly what we used to start the agency. Okay, so the first thing you got to ask yourself when starting an agency, and keep in mind I told you this is for beginners with zero money down. Okay, zero money down, zero money out of pocket. As a complete beginner, this is exactly what you can do. So first thing is first, you need to have a good niche and a good resonation. Niche is literally everything. If you pick a bad niche, you are fucked for life. I don't know about you guys, I don't want to get fucked for life. I ain't gay, so I'm gonna steer away from that. So I'm gonna pick a good niche, which is why I recommend you take a bit of time on this, because it's important. So don't pick a shitty niche. Okay? Also, one other thing with niche, how to pick a good niche, is you gotta have resonation. There's two key things. Is you gotta resonate to the niche in some way, shape, or form. And they have to be a good niche. And by that, a good niche, I basically mean, are they growing and do they have purchasing power? Right? Like, for example, there was an analogy where I think it was Alex Ramosi, one of his friends, or Russell Brunson, one of the two, one of their friends came up with an idea to start a company to help people write better resumes. It sounds great in theory. The problem was the people that needed to write resumes didn't have a job, therefore they didn't have money, therefore they could not afford the service. Right? You see the problem? You see the disconnect? So we gotta make sure that our niche is growing and has purchasing power. So I don't give a fuck how passionate you are about newspapers. Do not go into the newspaper niche. It's a terrible idea. We digress. The first thing first, you gotta have a good niche, good resonation. That's number uno. It's very important. Second thing, build a $100 million offer. Go pick up Alex Ramosi's book. It's somewhere. You can see it. It's the big one right there. Go pick it up, go give it a read, and then make a $100 million offer. Now, how can you do this? There's a million ways. Actually, if you look up Alex Ramosi's magic head offer formula, you can find a good little blueprint. But to sum it down, it's like you got to figure out, what do these people want? What's already working? What can I basically do to provide value? Because you will get paid more the more value you can provide. And as a matter of fact, let's actually go to the Alex Ramosi value equation. So here's what you want to do: is you want to find an offer. For example, we're talking about SMA. Let's talk about Facebook ads. Okay, maybe your offer is Facebook ads, but let's do this. How can we make the dream outcome of Facebook ads higher? How can we make sure that the dream, getting more money, getting more clients, getting whatever it is, whatever the dream outcome is, sitting on a sunny vacation beach, is higher? How can we make the dream outcome higher? How can we make the perceived likelihood of achievement higher? How can we make it more probable that they will actually see the results? And then on the bottom half is, how can we decrease the amount of time it takes for them to see the results? And how can we decrease their effort and sacrifice? Right? So decreasing effort and sacrifice would be like a done for you. They do nothing. I'll do it all for you. Time delays, like, just shorten the amount of time that you take to get them results. Dream outcome, increase the dream outcome of what they think they're going to get. Like, what are they actually going to get? Increase that. Make your service bigger, better, right? If you're going to do just ads, you can't deliver as good of a promise as if you're going to do ads, VSL, landing page, funnels, branding, content, right? It's like all these things, so the dream outcome will be higher with that. So therefore the value will be higher. Therefore you can charge more and you can do more. Right? Value and price, like how much you can charge someone, is in direct accordance to how much value you can give. And value is basically just how much are you doing for them? How good is your thing? Okay? And then obviously perceived likelihood of achievement. What is the odds they'll actually achieve this? You could have all three of these in check, these three, but if they don't think that it's going to happen, they won't take you up on it. Okay? This is pretty important. Now, let's get back to the Notion here to go through the rest of the checklist. So, let me move myself over here. Now I'm going to put this in here because it is part of it, okay, but it's nitty gritty, right? The nitty gritty stuff: make a Google account, right? Get your goal level set up for calling your leads, get the 297 plan, free trial, 14 days. That's what I just did, okay? That's what I just did. for calling your leads. Buy a phone number if you need to. You can just use your normal phone, whatever, right? Create all your outreach trackers. Create a Stripe account like I just did. Those are the nitty-gritty stuff. I don't want to talk about it, but there's one thing I do want to talk about. Guess what I didn't put in there? I didn't put name, I didn't put logo, I didn't put website for a reason. We didn't fucking do that, and you don't need to either. There's literally no point. You don't need it. Okay, you do not need that shit. Simple. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it, nor are we going to use it. And I'm going to prove that to you guys, and you're going to see that you can sign clients just as easily with or without a website. Okay, so let's move on to number 4 here. Start warming up. Start creating. If you don't have outreach accounts, start creating or buying outreach accounts. If that, or I should reword this to find outreach platform. So depending on your niche, you can have a different outreach platform. We have decided to go with DMs. Okay, so obviously we want to create and start warming up and optimizing outreach accounts, right? So what that looks like is just making your account genuine and honest and normal. Get more followers, get more posts, be more human, make your account look higher value. Like, if you go look at my Instagram account looks like a pretty solid, high-class individual. I like to think, at least, or at least to make it look that way. And so that way, when people click on my profile, they automatically associate me with higher value because of how my profile looks, right? It's first impression. It's very important. So make sure your first impression on your prospects is good. So have a solid outreach account. Get some more followers. Get some more posts, and have multiple of them, right? You're not going to get by with having one outreach account or 2. Have multiple, and have a bunch of backups too, right? Make sure you have it ready. Boom. Let's move on. So after you've warmed and optimized your outreach accounts, right? For outbound, obviously this is if you're doing cold calling or cold email, warm up your cold email accounts. If you're doing cold calling, get a number, whatever the case is. Okay. Then once again, if you're doing outreach, right, record content for your account. By content, I just mean you want to have some videos sharing your story. Like one video pinned to your profile sharing your story will do just fine. Okay. Now, next, you gotta have a plan. Okay, whether you have a team or no team, this doesn't matter. This is just, I'm making this for everybody. So you gotta have a plan for how are you gonna do outreach. What is the plan for outreach? Are you gonna send 10 messages a day, 100, 10 an hour, 100 an hour? What's the plan? You know, reverse engineer what you want and then go from there. It's like you gotta make a plan for your outreach, right? So obviously we have a plan to hit at least a couple hundred DMs a day, and we go from there. Now, along with this is your KPIs. What are your KPIs? How many calls do you want to be booking a week? How many sales calls do you want to be closing? And you make these KPIs so later you can refer back to the data and see what's going well and what's not going well. Okay, next, pretty self-explanatory, get leads. Get leads. You got to get leads somewhere, right? Whether you're going to manually scrape them or use a scraping software like LeadZinger, it doesn't matter. You got to get leads in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, you won't have people to reach out to. And those leads, as Alex Hormozi has said, can simply be the people in your contacts. It can be your family. It could be. Now, if you want to scale to a 10K agency, you're probably going to need a lot more than just them, but it could be, right? Now, next thing, you got to make some scripts, right? Since you've picked a good niche with some resonation, you've made a good offer, now make some scripts. Make some scripts that basically make people trust you and curious in what you have to offer so they can want to jump on a call with you to talk more about it, right? The script... Now, this is the thing I see people doing. The script isn't your sales call. The script, and when I'm saying scripts, I'm not talking about scripts for sales calls. Fuck scripts for sales calls. I'm talking about for outreach, right? Because you're just going to Command C, Command V for most of the people, just in some respect. So, make your scripts. But here's the problem, is most people take the script as a sales call, and they try and sell them right then and there. Now, think about that for a second. What person in the right mind, after texting you 2 times, is going to buy a $2,000 a month retainer for you to do some fucking ads? Nobody. So make your scripts in a way which warms them up. And by that I mean, like, don't fucking all out bombard them with 800 pounds of information. Give them a little taste, make them curious, build a bit of trust, and hop on a call. From that call, schedule a real call. On the real call, you see how it's a process? Which is why down here you see something called sales process, right? It's a process. You don't just sell them in the DMs. They don't just get sold in the DMs and all of a sudden, they flick a switch and all of a sudden they're sold and they're dropping your credit card in your bank. Like, no, that's not how it works. DMs is to get them interested. It's not to sell them. And this is a huge misconception I see people do wrong all the time, is DMs are to get them interested, not to sell them. You get people interested in the DMs. You sell them on the call. I hope that might give you a bit more clarity on your script. Now, do you still want to have your offer and stuff in there? Yes, and absolutely. But you don't need to write an entire book explaining why they need to go with you in the outreach. That's in the call. Get them interested, hop on a call, do the rest from there. Okay? Make your scripts. Make them short, nice, and sweet. Don't make them too fucking long. I mean, we could sit here and talk about scripts all day. I have 100 videos on scripts on my channel, but realistically, make a script, man. You'll look at the video, see if it's good. If it's not, make another one, go from there. Okay? Now, I had to say it at some point. get to fucking work. At this point, you've done enough. You need to get to work. Okay. Obviously, there should be one thing in here in make offer. It should be like figure out deliverables. Pardon my spelling, but like when you make your offer, you should kind of figure out what your deliverables are, right? Like what are you actually going to deliver your clients? That way you kind of know what you're offering. Now, am I saying you have to go master that skill? No. But you need to have a grasp and understanding of what it is. That way you can talk about it when you talk to these people. Okay. Then after you've done this, right, you made your scripts, get fucking testing, start sending outreach, start going ham. Right? Start going crazy. Start getting data. Start collecting data. Start testing with different scripts, with different accounts, different yada, yada, yadas. And then once you've tested a lot, analyze that data and adjust. Let me show you an example of testing data, right? For example, this is the tracker I'm using. And so we have a huge tracker which shows new prospects contacted, responses, response percent, pitches sent, total pitch replies, positive response, right? So leads, lead to pitch rate, lead to reply rate, lead to pitch reply rate, leads called, discovery calls answered, answer percent, demo calls booked, call conversion. And then if we keep moving further over, there's another column for sales on a different sheet. But like, you see how much data I'm tracking? Right, you see how much data we're going to track, so we get a good analysis of like, hey, what's going well, what's not going well, and then based on the data, we can make logical decisions and go from there. Because in business, you don't want to make emotional decisions. That's a terrible idea. Make logical decisions, and you cannot make logical decisions if you don't have data. So we need to collect all the data so we know what needs to be tweaked. Let's go back to the Notion. So after you've tested, I mean, this is still part of testing, right? But it's like ultimately you're going to have to book a call before you can even have a sales process. But if you want to get your sales process kind of figured out, get a calendar, okay? Fucking Calendly is free. Get a Calendly account. Now, if you're using Go Level, I really like calling in my leads to book the sales calls. I really just prefer calling leads, then booking it in, then sending it over the DMs. You just get a higher conversion rate that way. But hey, you do you. So in my case, when a meeting gets booked, there's going to be a confirmation to a 2-part message to seem real. So it's basically just a quick confirmation. 4 hours later, it's going to send them a text message saying, hey, we're excited. Then there's going to be a few casual touch points in between, depending on the time of the meeting. For example, if they're a week out, they'll have a lot more touch points than if they were 4 hours out. Okay. 4 hours before the meeting, I'm going to call them. Just quickly make sure they're still good to go. 2 hours before, send them a gentle push, and then 10 minutes before, send them another quick gentle push message in the DMs or wherever you're texting them on their phone number, just to make sure they're going to show up, right? Want to make sure that the people that we actually get booked in actually show up. So we got to make sure we have a good process. So that therefore there's a lot of touch points in between the DMs and the sales call. Okay. Now, obviously you got to sell them. I don't think I have to make a checkpoint that says sell them, but that's obviously part of this. And by sell them, I mean help them. If your service is good, you'll be able to sell people. Okay. And then the last thing to checking off your agency checklist that I have written down here is dialed onboarding. Okay. So you want to have a good onboarding process, right? Like, I know onboarding might seem like a far ways away when you're starting out, but like, it's one of the most important things. Do I recommend spending all day on it? No, but I do recommend having a bit of thought back in your mind. Hey, when I onboard somebody, what's it going to look like? Because when you onboard them is essentially their first experience, and you want to make sure that their first experience with you is actually good, right? They're actually happy and they're content with their decision, because often what happens is the second somebody dies is when the second somebody buys is when they start to hesitate. They start to get a little nervous. That's if your onboarding process is seamless and awesome and dialed and perfect, they will be less hesitant. They will have less buyer's remorse. And they'll be happier with their decision, which will ultimately benefit you. Okay. So I thought that was worth mentioning because it is kind of important. It's actually very important. It's literally from the book, Never Lose a Customer Again, on my shelf over here. It's super, super important. But as you can tell, that's it. Right? That's essentially it. I mean, yes, there's probably little minute things you could do, but like realistically, this is all we're doing. This is what we're doing to start the agency. This is what we're doing to start it from zero and scale it to 10K in the next 30 days and 7 figures beyond that. This is exactly what we're going to do. This is what we're currently doing. So I just want to quickly go back to this, right? Obviously, you want to have a tracker, right? You want to collect your data. But boom. Okay. This is day number 1, like I've shown you. Okay, there's nothing in the Stripe account. It's complete zeroness. Okay, so there's nothing there. I'm gonna update you guys on that as we go. Tomorrow, when we start to send outreach, I'm gonna give you guys an update on the data. You know, what kind of scripts are we doing? How are things looking? Yeah, but this is day number 1, and so I thought it would only be fitting if I showed you guys how we're actually gonna start this agency, so that you guys can do the exact same. Because that's the whole point of the series. Show you what we're doing, so you can do the same. And I hope that this gave you a bit of enlightenment on, you know, what it actually looks like to start an agency, and seriously, as what I just showed you, that's how simple it is. That's it. You don't need a fucking website. You don't need a domain. You don't need all these stupid fucking things that people think and say you need. You don't need them. You don't even need Go at level. Now, would I recommend it 100%? Would I recommend Zapier 100%? But you do not need that. You just don't. Okay? So I will leave you with that. That is day number 1 of Project 7 Figures. I'm fucking pumped because I'm so cool to see where this thing takes us and what value I can share with you guys to hopefully make your lives better. So do me a favor, drop a comment down below, and if you have anything in particular you want to see or you want to request that I can make a video on, I'll be more than happy to do so. Just shoot me a DM on the Discord or even drop a comment down below. But this is day number 1 of Project 7 Figures, so stick around because I'm going to be documenting this entire process of building this business to 7 figures. Whether that takes me 2 months or 2 years, I will document the entire thing regardless. So let's attack the world, and until tomorrow, love you all, have a great day, peace.